rise and join me in salute to the flag. And over your heart, may it begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioner Parks? Commissioner Cunningham?
Here.
Commissioner Parvin?
Here.
Commissioner Chair Morehouse?
Here. So we are running fairly lean today, and as a result of the fact that we don't have a full contingent, with regards to item 4, agenda review, I would respectfully ask that the commissioners that are here concur with me that we should put item 12 off to another date. That's a pretty important piece. We've been having a continuing discussion with regard to this section of the Commissioner's Handbook, and I think it really calls for a complete and thorough discussion of our entire body. So with the concurrence of the Commissioners, we can ask that item 12 be put to a future meeting. Is that satisfactory to everybody? Commissioner Parks?
Yeah, there's no time sensitivity to this, is there?
I don't
It's not
believe
gonna
that
be
there is,
applicable.
no.
Yeah, I support that.
Okay.
I would too.
Is that fine? All right. I don't know if we need a formal vote. I guess so we will. Just so I had a motion and a second. I think it was you made it.
I think I seconded it.
Seconded. Made the motion.
Must have made
Okay,
it, yeah.
Parks and then commissioned by
Oh.
Parks. So to put it over to a later meeting. So I don't think we need a roll call. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Sounds good.
Did we?
Gwen, I know you came, and public comments is right up next, but you're satisfied and you'll come back at a later date. We'll let you know accordingly. Thank you. Okay, with that, let's go to commission presentations and announcements. Is there anything anybody would like to share for the good of the cause? Seeing none, then we will move on and to the public comment section. And Ms. Jensen was our only presenter, and hers was going to be on a specific item anyway. So let's move then forward to our consent items, which is the minutes of the Ventura County LAFCo of April 20th, 2016, and the budget to actual report for April 2016 with the recommendation of approval item 7 and receive and file item 8. So, I have a motion.
Second.
Motion by Cunningham, second by Parvin. Any discussion? Okay, with that, clerk, take the roll. Yeah, if you'd like to take the roll, please. Wait, we can do this by unanimous, I think. So, right? So, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? That's much quicker and easier. Thank you. Okay, with that one, then we will go to our public hearing items. And number 9 is the LAFCo 15-10S Ventura County Waterworks District number 38 Municipal Service Review and Determination of a Sphere of Influence. And with that, Ms. Osdy.
Good morning. Item number 9, LAFCo 15-10S, is the Municipal Service Review and Sphere of Influence Determination for Ventura County Waterworks District number 38. First, a bit of background on the district. The formation of Waterworks District number 38 was approved by LAFCo in November of 2014. It was formed by special election in May of 2015, and it became effective upon its recordation in June of 2015, and finally service began in July of 2015. The Waterworks District replaces the Lake Sherwood Community Services District as the public retail water provider in the Lake Sherwood area, and it is authorized to provide water for irrigation, domestic, industrial, and fire protection purposes. The district boundary includes all of the Lake Sherwood area, the Lake Sherwood community as designated in the Lake Sherwood Hidden Valley Area Plan, as well as Ventura County Fire Protection District Station number 33, which is located up here right at the northwest corner of the lake. And that is outside the Lake Sherwood community, that one parcel. Pursuant to LAFCo law, LAFCo is required to determine a sphere of influence for a newly formed city or special district within 1 year of the effective date of the formation to establish the current and probable service area of that agency. And a municipal service review, or MSR, is required to evaluate that agency and assist the commission in determining the sphere of influence. The evaluation in the MSR includes several components, such as the growth and population projections for the affected area, the present and planned capacity of public facilities and adequacy of public services, and the financial ability of agencies to provide those services. The LAFCo analysis regarding the sphere of influence determination includes several related topics, including the present and planned land uses, present and probable need for public facilities and services, and the present capacity of public facilities and the adequacy of public services. Based on the evaluation in the MSR and the analysis of the sphere of influence, the recommended sphere is coterminous with the existing district boundary. You can see that is outlined in red, surrounding exactly where the district's boundary currently is. There's no new service that's anticipated outside of the recommended sphere of influence or district boundary. While the Commission's actions related to the acceptance of the MSR and determination of the sphere are subject to CEQA, these actions are exempt from CEQA because it can be seen with certainty that there's no possibility that these actions may have a significant impact on the environment. Notice of the public hearing was provided pursuant to LAFCo law, and there were no comments that were received by staff. If accepted by the Commission, the final municipal service review will reflect any modifications made by the Commission and any non-substantive changes that are made by the executive officer. Staff recommends that the Commission accept the municipal service review prepared for the Ventura County Waterworks District number 38. Also, that it adopt a resolution making findings that the acceptance of the district MSR is exempt from CEQA and approving statements of determinations as required under LAFCo law. And also adopt a resolution making findings that the determination of the district's sphere of influence is exempt from CEQA, determining the sphere subject to Government Code 56426.5b, and making written statements of its determinations pursuant to Government Code. And that concludes the presentation.
Okay, thank you very much. And first of all, I want to laud Commissioner Parks for her past efforts to get this created. We know that was a bit of a undertaking, and then your very thorough staff report and the study that was accompanying it. Are there any questions of any commissioners?
I do.
Commissioner Parks?
The two parcels, I guess, Dickens Patch and the Murdoch property, do they have out-of-area service agreements?
They do not. They received water prior to 2001, so they're exempt from 56-130.
I see. They don't need them.
But no new service could be provided without an out-of-area service agreement to those parcels.
Okay.
Okay, additional questions? I have no public comments, so I'll entertain a motion.
Move approval? I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second for approval of the staff recommendations. Don't think this calls for a roll. We can do this by voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right. That was short and sweet. Thank you. That will move on to item 10, which is the recommended final budget and work plan for the fiscal year 2016-17. Mr. Moma.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this is the recommended final budget for next fiscal year, 2016-2017. As you know, CKH, otherwise known as LAFCo law, does require that LAFCo must adopt a proposed budget by May 1st of each year and a final budget by June 15th. You'll recall that last month the Commission did adopt a proposed budget for next fiscal year, and this, of course, is the recommended final budget. Just a little bit of background. As I mentioned, the commission did approve the proposed budget at last month's meeting. The recommended final budget is nearly identical to that was approved by the commission last month. The only changes are some non-substantive changes for language revisions and the addition of an asterisk to note that the recommended contingency amount of 5% is less than that typically required by Commission Policy 10%. This was a request made by the Commission at last month's meeting. So because the Commission did approve the proposed budget and it's relatively almost exactly the same, I'm not going to go into detail. I'll just give a brief overview of the expenditures and revenues. This is the expenditures. For the current adopted budget, total salaries and benefits was anticipated to be about $497,000. Services and supplies about $162,000. Contingencies just a little bit under $20,000 for a total budget of about $679,000. We are projecting expenditures for salaries a little under $475,000. Services and supplies about $146,000. We don't project to expend any of the contingencies for a total projected expenditure of $620,775. The proposed budget includes $506,750 in salaries, $162,800 for services and supplies, which is very little change from the current fiscal year. And contingencies, we are recommending 5% of total expenditures, which is $33,478, for a budget total of a little over $703,000. Now, the proposed total expenditures for the next fiscal year represents a 3.5% increase over the adopted budget for this year. So that's expenditures. Any questions?
Do we have a contingency fund if we get sued?
We do. We have a litigation reserve of $100,000 that is fully funded.
Thank you.
Being familiar with litigation in our city, a lot of times it exceeds $100,000. What's our option after that? God forbid.
Well, we do have an indemnity agreement on all of our applications that do require, the applicant to indemnify. However, if the indemnity agreement does not hold up or we are sued, we do have some unassigned fund balance that can be expended toward those costs if it does exceed $100,000. And Mr. Walker, please add anything if you would like.
That's accurate. The intent of the $100,000, of course, is to cover those rare occasions where we wouldn't have the indemnity in place from an applicant. And the commission would be out there on its own without any support there. So it should be a rare circumstance where we'd have to tap into that, even with the fact that it should be a rare circumstance that we get sued in the first place.
Not to belabor the point, are you familiar with any cases where it's not the applicant suing, so indemnity wouldn't be available?
Yes, that can happen. I don't have any that come to mind right now to give you the examples. It can happen, but usually, as I said, it would be rare because it would be, for instance, someone challenging the MSR that you just approved, for instance, with Waterworks District Number 38. There's not an applicant in place, so there wouldn't be any indemnity. So to defend that lawsuit, it would fall just on the commission to finance that. But of course, that sort of attack would be rare.
Thank you.
I think there was a case, actually, maybe it was Hidden Creek, where LAFCo got sued and we were in debt for a while. It was a significant hit to the budget.
Mm-hmm.
So it can happen.
Right, and the policies do provide that when that litigation reserve is expended, then the commission needs to take measures the subsequent fiscal years to put that money back. So.
I have a question.
Question, Commissioner Parvin.
Did you hear from any representatives from the county, city, or independent district relative to the budget?
No,
Nothing?
No, none.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
And it was shared with all of them and their proportionate amounts and all that they're aware of.
Oh, right, yes, absolutely. We get calls, leading up to the budget from the cities or the districts who are preparing their budget, asking what their allocation is going to be. That's the only contact that we receive typically.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, revenues. For the current adopted fiscal year, the Commission's approved budget appropriated $75,000 in fund balance, anticipated $2,705, or just $27,500 in miscellaneous revenue, and $576,477 from the other governmental agencies, for a total budget of about $679,000. We are projecting the use of $21,798,000 of that appropriated fund balance. We do estimate a reduced amount of revenue down to $22,500. We did receive all of the allocations, $576,477, for projected total revenues of $620,775. Now, for the proposed budget or the recommended final budget, we are recommending that the Commission appropriate $65,000 in unassigned fund balance, in fund balance. We are estimating a reduction in miscellaneous revenue to $21,000, and the total for other agencies is increased about 7% to $617,028 for a total of just over $703,000.
Okay. Any questions about the revenues?
Okay.
Okay.
So the recommendation is that the Commission approve the final budget, or the recommended final budget, as the final budget for 2016-17, and direct us to transmit the final budget to the county, city, and special districts, and then also to adopt the work plan for next fiscal year as set forth in the final budget. And that concludes my presentation.
Okay, thank you. And it's relatively unchanged from what we saw before, and I did appreciate the addition of the asterisk as requested. So, any further questions of anyone? Oh, yeah, okay. Alternate member Ross.
I'm trying to pull up the agenda on my computer. There was an increase in the budget that you're recommending. What would you say most of that increase is being allocated to, without looking at it?
The increase is due to the fact that we are recommending a 5% contingency as opposed to 3% last year, so that increased it somewhat. There's an increase in salaries of about $10,000. That increased it. And then also because we're recommending that the Commission use $10,000 less in fund balance, from $75,000 to $65,000. So that's why the increase.
Got it.
Okay, additional questions? Well, I have no public speakers on this either, so I'll entertain a motion.
Move staff's recommendation.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Parvin, second by Cunningham to remove staff recommendation. This doesn't require a roll call, does it? Because it's budgetary, we can do this by, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, very good. Thank you. That's short and sweet, too. Okay, with that, then item 11 is the LAFCo 16-04 out-of-service agreement with the City of San Buenaventura, RDK Land, LLC. Back to Ms. Osteen.
Okay, the request is for the provision of water service outside the City of Ventura's jurisdictional boundaries, and it is called an out-of-agency service agreement, or OASA, and it is requested to accommodate the development of 6 contractor service and storage yards and an associated caretaker's residence located north of the City of Ventura in this area, which is about 7.7 acres of a larger 22-acre property at the intersection of Cañada Larga Road and North Ventura Avenue, north of the Brooks Institute. Here's an aerial photograph to give you a sense of where this is. Again, the permit area where the development would take place is in that blue area, 7.7 acres of the northern part of the 22-acre property. To the northwest is the Ojai Valley Sanitary District wastewater treatment facility. Immediately north is the City of Ventura's water treatment facility. Just to the east is North Ventura Avenue, Industrial Land, and Highway 33. To the south immediately is Brooks Institute Photography and Film School. And just to the west is vacant land and the Ventura River. Typically, the executive officer is the decision maker for OASAs pursuant to LAFCo policies. However, he's not authorized by the Commission to take action on requested OASAs if the lead agency determined that the environmental document is a mitigated negative declaration or an environmental or impact report, EIR. And as the County of Ventura prepared and adopted an MND for the subject project, the Commission is the decision maker for this application. The requirements for OASAs are established in Government Code Section 56133. LAFCo law requires that services by a local agency be provided within the jurisdictional boundaries of that agency in general. And the law also recognizes that there are some circumstances where annexation to an agency is not feasible or appropriate in order to receive the service. For OASA requests within the service provider's sphere of influence, Government Code Section 56133B applies, and that states that the Commission may authorize a city or district to provide new or extended services outside its jurisdictional boundary, but within its sphere of influence, in anticipation of a later change of organization, meaning an annexation. In addition, the Ventura LAFCo Commissioner's Handbook has several policies pertaining to the approval of OASAs, such as those related to the city's ability to provide the service, consistency with the general plan and specific plan, agriculture and open space preservation, and lack of contiguity would make annexation infeasible at this time. And all of those standards have been met as explained in the staff report. And as mentioned, the County of Ventura adopted a mitigated negative declaration for the project under CEQA, and LAFCo's action for the OASA is also subject to CEQA. The recommended action includes the Commission's adoption of the findings provided in the county's CEQA document. Staff recommends that the Commission certify that the Commission has reviewed and considered the information contained in the MND prepared by the county and adopt the resolution approving the OSA for the City of Ventura and RDK land. And that concludes the presentation. And the property owner, John Dewey, is here too if you have any questions specific for him.
Okay, are there any questions by anybody? Commissioner Parks?
Could you address the issue of water and availability of water and how much they'll need in terms of how much there is?
The city provided in their application, they demonstrated that they do have sufficient water for this project, and they explained that it was minimal given the type of project that this is with the 6 contractor service yards and the caretaker dwelling. It adds up to about 1/3 of an acre foot per year, and that is considered to be minimal, and that was explained in the environmental document, which was reviewed by the city as well.
And so the city is looking to see that they receive permission from LAFCo before they give a permit.
Correct.
So, and LAFCO doesn't have any authority to put any kind of conditions on or anything or recommendations like keeping a bike path through there or something like that?
It's just limited to just the project and the development that was proposed, and that's exactly where the approval would be tied around. It would be very limited to just that approval.
So, and it would be at the city level if they want to get a bike path in or keep it in. That's the kind of thing the city may be able to do.
A bike through the county?
Through that property.
That is in the county jurisdiction, so I don't know that the city would be involved with that.
Other questions?
The applicant has a question, has a statement.
Did you want to make a public?
Okay.
We'll have you fill out a speaker card.
Hi, John Dewey, RDK Land. It's important to note on the aerial photo that this parcel that we're discussing today is completely to the east of the bike path. The bike path goes right on top of the old railroad right-of-way. So our project in no way impinges, encroaches on the bike path. The bike path will be there forever from our perspective. The water usage is really quite minimal. We may wind up having only one small modular trailer, and our water consumption is for a bathroom for our contractors to use. And the county imposed a minimal landscaping strip around the property, and we intend to put as drought-tolerant plantings on landscape strip as possible, and maybe even some artificial turf if the county's development standards would allow. But I'd be happy to address any other questions related to the project.
Yeah, I guess the request was actually an easement so they could access the bike path, but I guess that will all be determined at the permit
I don't
level.
think there was any easement contemplated from the bike path to Cañada Larga. If somebody is on the bike path and they want to get out to Ventura Avenue, they can do that immediately north of the Ojai Sand property or immediately south of us when they go south of the USA Petroleum site.
Okay, I'll have them contact you directly.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I also believe there is a gate they can get in the backside of the Brooks Institute as well. So if somebody who's commuting to Brooks on bicycle, they could access that property too.
But I would see where it would be a difficulty. You know, you have equipment and all that. You don't want cyclists around there. And you'd
Not a
have
good
to-
idea to mix
you'd have to
bicycles
fence
with
off the
contractors.
area.
I don't think so.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
Questions for the
Anything?
project?
And if you'll fill out a card, so we'll have the
Yes.
information on you, please. Thank you. Additional,
I'd like to move approval.
you have a motion for approval?
I'll second.
I have a second by Parvin. I will, I'm embarrassed to admit, this one came in under the radar. It's my city, and I wasn't aware of it. And I was prompted initially to call my staff and ask the very question, because as you may be aware from reading the papers, Ventura is struggling with the water issue. But after seeing that staff was on board with it and signed off on it as a county-approved project, I'm along for the ride. So, no,
We're willing to share.
yeah, no problem with it because it's gone through an appropriate process and been determined to be okay. So, with that, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Seeing none, it's approved unanimously. Thank you. We start off by moving item 12 to a later meeting, so that takes us to item 13, which is the cancellation of the June 8th, 2016 regular meeting. Because we had no business, right, Kai, that unless the item from 12 should be pushed, but that would be the only item for us in June if we did that, correct?
That's correct. We would push that off until July.
Probably prudent to combine more things. No reason to come together. As important as the discussion will be on item 12, I don't think we need to take up a special meeting just for that. Okay, so does that need, I guess it needs a formal action for approval, so may I have a motion to that effect? I'll move.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second.
I wanted to meet.
You want to meet? Okay, you will. What can I say? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, then we will not have a June 8th meeting. And we'll move next to our executive officer's report. Kai.
Really nothing to report, except that the next LAFCo meeting will be July 20th.
That's short and sweet. Okay, then final commissioners' comments. Is there anything from commissioners, again, for the good of the cause? Glad our alternates made it. It was short.
Apologies for being late.
I heard they
Okay.
closed the entire freeway. You have a good excuse there.
Yeah, it's kind of
Do
difficult.
you have that problem?
Okay.
It must
I left
happen.
earlier, I think.
All right, well, thank you again for your showing up today, and with that, we will stand adjourned, and we will convene again on July 20th. Thank you.